Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel that turns your spare change into potential treasure. Today we're diving deep into the world of rare and ultra rare Jefferson nickels that could be sitting unnoticed in your pocket, coin jar, or that old box in your attic and might be worth some serious cash. The Jefferson nickel, first minted in 1938, replaced the iconic Buffalo nickel and has been a staple of US coinage ever since. Designed by Art Felix Schlag. The coin features a portrait of Thomas Jefferson on the obverse and his home, Monticello, on the reverse, and though billions have been minted over the years, only a handful are considered truly rare or valuable, especially in high-grade condition or with specific mint errors or varieties. One of the most talked about dates among collectors is the 1939D Jefferson nickel, which came out of the Denver Mint with a surprisingly low mintage of just a 3.5 million coins, making it one of the scarcest issues in the entire series. Collectors are especially drawn to coins from this year that display full steps on Monticello, a feature that's tricky to find due to weak strikes at the time. While a circulated 1939D might bring in $10 to $75, one in mint state 65 with full steps can fetch over to $2,000, which is a huge return for just 5 cents. Next up, let's talk about the Mint 1942P War Nickel. A coin that marked a shift in composition due to World War II. Nickel was a strategic metal, so the mint substituted a 35% silver alloy instead, and you can identify these war nickels by the large mint mark above Monticello on the reverse, a design feature unique to these wartime coins. The 1942P is particularly significant because it was the first of the silver series, and those circulated examples might only be worth a couple bucks based on silver melt value. Coins in higher grades can command $50 to $200 Moser size, especially with full steps. Another key coin every collector watches for is the 1950D Jefferson nickel, which holds the title for the lowest regular mintage in the entire series. Only 2.6 million coins were made, and because people back then anticipated its rarity, many were hoarded and preserved in great shape, which ironically made them less rare in uncirculated grades, but still incredibly desirable. Circulated examples of the 1950D can be worth $15 to $30, while those graded MS65 or higher with full steps can fetch $150 to $400 or more, depending on eye appeal and strike quality. Of course, the real hidden gems of the Jefferson series are found in mint errors and die varieties, which can be easy to miss unless you're paying close attention. Take, for example, the 1954 S over D, S or D variety, a coin where the San Francisco S mint mark was stamped over a D, creating a noticeable overlap that can be worth $50 to $300, depending on condition and clarity. Another notable variety is the 1939 doubled Monticello, a doubled die reverse where the words Monticello and 5 cents appear with clear doubling. These are highly sought after by error collectors and can bring in anywhere from $100 to $800+ in top grades. And don't overlook the newer coins. The 2004-2005 Westward Journey series brought a modern twist to the nickel, and some examples of the 2004 piece metal and 2005 Buffalo nickels have shown dramatic errors like rotation strikes, off-center designs, and doubled dies. That can be worth hundreds, some even hitting auction blocks for over $500. If you're just starting out in coin collecting, especially with Jefferson nickels, here are a few tips. Always check the mint mark 10, which can be found on the reverse before 1965 and on the obverse afterward. Pay attention to the detail. On Monticello for the elusive ye full steps. And always use a 10x magnifier test or loupe to inspect lettering and dates for signs of doubling or striking errors. Even nickels that look ordinary at first glance could be worth way more than face value, so take your time and get familiar with the key years and traits. While some coins will be easier to spot than others, it's the thrill of the hunt that keeps collectors coming back, and trust me, finding a rare Jefferson nickel in your spare change is a rush like no other. So, whether you're an experienced numismatist or a total beginner, this series is for you. In the next part, we'll uncover even more rare Jefferson nickels, including coins that have sold for thousands at auction and a few recent discoveries that shocked even veteran collectors. We talked about some key dates and war nickels that have made waves in the collector world, but in this next chapter, we're turning up the heat and digging into some of the most mind-blowing ultra-rare Jefferson nickels ever discovered. These are the kinds of coins that can fetch thousands of dollars, gear shock seasoned collectors, and even end up in auction houses like Heritage or Stax Bowers. Let's kick things off with a superstar of the series, the 1964 SMS Jefferson nickel. Now, 1964 is a common year for nickels. Millions were made. But what makes this version rare is the mysterious special mint set, SMS Dollar Strike. These coins weren't officially released to the public, and only a few dozen examples are known to exist. They were struck with special dies that left a satiny, proof-like finish, and collectors still debate their origins. Some believe they were experimental strikes made by the mint, if you're lucky enough to find one. A 1964 SMS nickel can be worth 8,000 to 35,000 pawns, depending on condition and authentication. That's right, 5 cents turned into 5 figures. Moving on, let's talk about the 1938 TESS and 1938 D nickels, the first year issues of the Jefferson series that were minted in relatively low numbers. The 1938 S, for instance, had a mintage of only 4.1 million, and while that's not ultra rare in the grand scheme of things, examples in MS67 or higher with full steps are extremely hard to find and often auctioned for $500 to $2,000. Same with the 1938D. These early nickels are often overlooked, but pristine examples with that strong Monticello step detail can make collectors' wallets open wide. Another fascinating piece to keep an eye out for is the 2005D Speared Bison nickel, part of the Westward Journey series. This coin got its nickname because of a die gouge that appears like a spear running through the bison's back, something that happened during the minting process due to damage on the die. It's visible with the naked eye and has become one of the most famous modern errors in recent history. These errors can be worth anywhere from 50 to 500 C, and sometimes even more if in high mint state or certified by PCGS or NGC. While we're on the subject of errors, let's go even deeper. Ever heard of clipped planchets to his off-center, strikes, or broad-struck nickels? These are all types of mint errors that can show up across any year, and in the Jefferson series, they're highly collectible. A nickel that's been struck 10% to 50% off center can fetch $100 to $300 DU easily, depending on the date and visibility of the design. Clipped planchets, where a portion of the coin is missing due to an error in the blank cutting process, can range from 50 to 150 var, again based on how dramatic and obvious the clip is. Broad-struck coins, which are struck without the collar that normally shapes the coin's edge, create a flatter, expanded look and often sell for $50 to $200 or more depending on condition. Don't forget about full steps nickels. Grading designation can skyrocket the value of an otherwise common date. For example, a 1969 S Jefferson nickel is usually not worth much in circulation, but one certified MS67 with full steps once sold for over $3,000 at auction. That's the power of strike quality and rarity combining. And then we have some proof nickels, which are specially made for collectors and often have mirror-like surfaces. While many modern proofs are common, look out for those from the early 1960s and late 1950s, especially if they come in pristine condition with cameo contrast. A 1950 proof nickel in PF68 cameo can be worth 1,000 tlos, particularly if slabbed and certified. Another under-the-radar variety is the 1971 No S proof nickel. This was a mistake where the San Francisco Mint forgot to punch the mint mark on some proof dies. Only a few of these coins exist, and they're considered mega rarities, like with auction values soaring past 20,000 chun. So, what can you do to increase your chances of finding one of these treasures? First, check SAR proof and mint sets, and from inherited collections or estate sales. People often forget what they have and sell them cheap. Second, always check the O steps on Monticello. If you see 5 or 6 full steps, get that nickel graded. And finally, use reliable tools. A Cho10X loupe, coin reference books like the Red Book, or websites like PCGS CoinFacts to stay sharp. If you're serious about building a Jefferson nickel collection, or even just treasure hunting casually, these are the kinds of finds that make the hobby so rewarding, from 6-figure auctions to hidden errors you could find in pocket change. The Jefferson nickel series is one of the most exciting and underrated corners of numismatics. And trust me, we're not done yet. There are even more modern errors, deep dive varieties. Now that we've covered key dates, full steps, war nickels, and even those elusive mint errors, we're closing things out with some final bangers. Coins that have made headlines, shocked experts, and might still be out there waiting to be found. One standout in recent years is the whole 1989 D Jefferson nickels and MS 67 full steps. While the year itself is common, examples with a perfect full-step strike and top-level luster are incredibly rare, and a high-grade specimen sold at auction for over a 3,500 wine, proving that even a relatively modern coin can pull huge numbers. If the condition is exceptional, that brings us to a key point. Condition and strike quality matter just as much as rarity in this series. Many nickels were poorly struck, especially during the 60s and 70s, so a coin from a common year that has perfect steps and no contact marks can be worth way more than you'd expect. Take the 1970D Jefferson nickel, another year where high-quality strikes are scarce. One MS66 Plus full steps example brought in those who were lost $900 simply because it's so difficult to find one that sharp. And let's not forget the 2009 Jefferson nickel part of the Return to Monticello reverse design revival. It had a lower mintage than other modern nickels due to the economic downturn, and while it's still relatively easy to find in circulation, examples in perfect MS67 or higher can reach $500 or more, especially when slabbed and certified by grading giants like PCGS or NGC. Now, we've talked a lot about full steps, so here's a pro tip for anyone looking to maximize their search. Invest in a high-quality Eslido loupe or microscope, because the detail between 4 full steps and 5 or 6 full steps can be very subtle but make a massive difference in value. A coin with 5 or 6 sharply defined steps and no bridging between them is the gold standard and often noted as FS on grading labels. Another valuable trick is to search bank rolls. You can order nickel rolls directly from your bank and hunt for older dates, rare mint marks, or even error coins hiding among the newer stuff. People have found 1939D nickels, off-center strikes, and even war nickels from the 1940s just by roll searching. And if you ever come across a nickel with a missing clad layer, odd toning, or a design that looks off, don't spend it. Get it looked at by a pro, because those could be mint errors worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars. Now, let's highlight some jaw-dropping Jefferson nickel sales from recent auctions that made waves in the coin world. In 2021, a 1966 Jefferson nickel graded MS67 with full steps sold for $4,800. Again, not because the date was rare, but because of its flawless condition and strike. In 2019, a 1949 DS over mint to mark variety, showing a clear D mint mark, punched over an S, went for $2,640 at Heritage Auctions in mint state. These over mint mark varieties are collector favorites and highly sought after. Another one to watch for is the 1943 P3 over 2 12, where the date 1943 was struck over a 1942 die, and these transitional errors are worth anywhere from $500 to $1,500 plus, depending on grade. Even Jefferson nickels with toning, those rainbow or golden hues from years of oxidation, can sell for premiums if they're eye-catching enough, especially if the underlying coin is already in high grade. If you want to build your own Powerhouse Jefferson collection, here's the strategy. First, focus on completing a basic date and mint mark set from 1938 to present. Then, start upgrading to higher grades, looking for full steps where possible. After that, go deep, hunt for varieties, errors, and rare SMS or proof strikes, and don't forget to network with other collectors. Join coin shows, online forums like Coin Talk, or check out auction sites like Great Collections and Heritage to learn what's trending. And if you find a nickel that looks different or suspect it could be valuable, submit it for grading. It might cost $30, $50, but it could turn a 5-cent piece into a 5-figure payday. So there you have it. Coin fam, that's the full trilogy on the rare and ultra rare Jefferson nickels. From low mintage keys and Silver War nickels to die varieties and striking errors, there's a world of hidden value in this unassuming little coin, and the next big find might be sitting in your pocket, change tray, or coin roll right now. Sure to like, comment with your coolest nickel find, and subscribe so you don't miss our next episode where we'll dive into Roosevelt dimes that can be worth thousands. Until then, keep hunting, keep learning, and remember, every coin has a story. Make sure you know yours.